So it used to be that the daily 5 o'clock question, what should I make for dinner? It was rhetorical, right? We threw it out to nobody in the kitchen, just hoping an answer appeared. But now AI is actually answering. We've got recipes, we've got meal plans, personal wellness recommendations. But our next guest warns that when it comes to nutrition advice, not everything AI serves up is good for us. KSL Health contributor Miki Eberhardt is here, which makes it a good day. Always a good day to see you. Now, knowing you the way I do, I see you as one of those sort of lean-in girls, like an AI adopter.
So, I mean, I did just watch that data center story. So I guess in smart ways.
Yes, yes.
I'm not a fan of graphics and things, but when it comes to easing decision-making and kind of just saving time for things that normally I would have to figure out,
yeah,
I do think it's a great thing.
But with health, and this is what I love, Miki, in every regard for, you're willing to try, you're willing to experiment with all the tools available, but you're kind of doing an early break tap.
Correct, because there are some things that are super helpful, but we have to have eyes wide open on how it can also be harmful.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important part here. Because especially, Brooke, with AI, it is so confident in what it gives you and what it recommends that it's hard to be like, this couldn't be wrong with that confidence.
But it can. It's both confident and compassionate. I'm
yes,
like,
it's so nice.
It's way too nice. And you're right, it's way too confident. So on that note, you've got a pro list and then you've got a precautionary list.
Yes.
Let's start with what AI can be helpful with when it comes to health and nutrition. You say meal planning.
Meal planning. And with chatbots in general, the more detailed information you give, the more helpful it can be back. So if I put in that I'm trying to follow a Mediterranean diet that's higher in fiber, and these are the foods I like, and these are the ones I don't like or I have allergies to, and these are the places I like to cook from, these sites, these recipes, give me a week-long menu, give me the grocery list, this is what's in my pantry, this is in my fridge.
Yeah. Okay, great. Which, that's a side of AI I still need to like get comfortable with. I don't know if it's because I mostly talk to kids 10 and under all day, or to producers who are in fast motion to make quick decisions, but I'm always simplifying my words. This is a more is more situation.
Oh, you can give it more.
Yeah.
Yes, and that will fine tune it to exactly what you are looking for.
We had a case study the other night. Mama was running out the door, and so I left Dad with like a very simple spaghettis on the stove.
Yes.
And I came home an hour later, and he's like, try it. Just try this simple spaghetti. And I ate it, and it was like restaurant quality. And then he proceeds to show me, he sent ChatGPT a picture of our fridge, a picture of our pantry, and said, make this basic ragu restaurant worthy, and it worked. It was amazing.
And that's like badge of honor right there.
That's
impressive.
Okay, you like it for nutrient tracking
yes,
too.
like if I do make my own food and I have my own recipes, but I'm wondering like, am I getting 25 grams of fiber a day like I'm supposed to? I could put that recipe in, say this serves 6, how many grams of fiber are in one serving? It'll tell you.
And accurately?
And accurately.
Okay. And tell us about your recommendation to use AI as an accountability partner.
This is, I mean, you could just set an alarm for this too, but you know, to your point that it's compassionate and kind, I had a client that used it to say, like every Friday my boss brings in donuts and I always forget to take my own snack and I'm always tempted by them. Like she just set up a like reminder through chat, remind me to pack my own snacks so that I can do it. And then it would follow back up with her, like, good job, you didn't have the donut, you know, and so there is a level that was like, that was helpful for her.
Yeah.
It can be an accountability partner.
I mean, I think ideally you hope that that would be a real person, but in those situations, if there's no one else to relate to.
That is where a coach, a dietitian, right? Yes, a real person is always better to connect with.
Sure.
Can be helpful though.
Okay, let's get into more of the cautionary tales. This is a great point I'd never thought of, Miki. Like, the chatbot doesn't know my health history.
At all, unless you give it to it. If you're putting in all of your doctor's notes and your labs and what your medications are, what that chatbot can be recommending for you can be harmful. It can go against certain things that you are trying to do, and it may not even have the full picture because you haven't given it. And so that's obviously where a dietitian is trained. Chatbots are not trained to give clinical advice accurately.
That's important.
And so that is an important thing. If it's a general, hey, I eat most things, what should I eat? That's different than, you know, my liver labs are high, I'm trying to do this, I'm on this medication, what should I do? That's a lot more, you need a lot more clinical fine-tuning to that, to answer that question than maybe typically you'd get.
I'm continually both surprised and I guess frankly impressed at how often my kids are questioning, is this AI? It's a good thing. And you say with health and wellness in particular, we need to make sure our kids have that like scrutinery eye.
Yes, and this really is dangerous for youth when it comes to them using this, or even an adult using it for a youth. There was a study that was done that found that for overweight teens when inputted into a chatbot that it gave 700 calories less of a recommendation than a dietitian would, which really speaks to eating disorders and malnutrition and other things like that. So the more specialized, then usually the more inaccurate it becomes.
And that surprised me. That was on your cautionary list as well.
That last one.
The more detailed, the more inaccurate.
Which is interesting, right? Because you think the more detail I give it, the more accurate it should be. But because they get their information from all across the internet, and I'm sure it will get better over time.
Sure.
But you're from a Reddit thread to a peer-reviewed journal. So the information you can get specifically for like athletes, sports nutrition, teens, young adults, and medical nutrition therapy, you're gonna have a whole range there. And it is wildly bad. Like 72%, a study done last year, 72% of those specialized cases were wrong.
Okay.
And so being aware of that, even if you want to do it and say, hey, dietitian, can I pay you to look over this and what are your thoughts?
That would be worth it.
Or ask chat, where did you get this information? What are your sources? And if it's not a peer-reviewed journal, maybe don't take it so seriously.
This is good stuff, Miki. Thank you so much for the heads up and the encouragement, too.